So, welcome to Bhakti Steps. We'll be reading from chapter number 13 of Bhagavad Gita. Hmm? And before that, there are prayers on the screen. So, please repeat with me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam
मनोभीष्टं
Yena Bhutale
स्थापितं येन भूते
Swayam
स्वयं
Rupa Kadam Mahyam Dadati
ददाति
Swapadahantikam.
स्वपदान्तिकं
Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Tapadakamalam
युगपदातं
Shri Gurun
श्रीमतां
Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam
चैतन्य देवं
Shri
श्री
Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsa He
हे
Krishna
कृष्ण
Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Vishakhan Vishnubhede Pranamami Haripriye
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे.
हरे हरे
So again, welcome to Bhakti Steps. Um, we'll be reading from 13th chapter. So I assume that the part all of you here have read till um, 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Have you read till 12th
Yes,
chapter?
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, good.
Yes, Prabhu.
Good, very nice. Okay. Um, so, did anyone put on the chat or something? Someone wants to join the call, right? Why, what? Ah, yeah. Okay. So, the way we'll do is this is the whole chapter purport, translation purport. So I will read the translation, and from the purport I will ask one of you to read. So please volunteer to read. And we may not be able to read the whole chapter. We will read the highlighted sections. So if you see, there are some sections which are highlighted, and I will make you read all this highlighted section and we'll discuss over it. If you have any questions, any comments, you can interrupt me and uh, right there only, and we can talk. And at the end also we will have some questions. It will go for 1 hour. And so yeah, so let's start. So Bhagavad Gita was, so today is Ekadashi. If you know, some of you may be following Ekadashi. So today's Ekadashi, it's a very good day to start spiritual activities. Ekadashi, one should do a lot of spiritual activity, and we are very fortunate, you and me, to read Bhagavad Gita. Any chapter, any one verse is also enough. So today we are going to go through certain verses, and definitely this is a very amazing chapter, which is chapter 13, the nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. So if you know that Bhagavad Gita was spoken in a battlefield, Mahabharat, and there they were fighting for a property. Duryodhan had promised that if the Pandavas, the five brothers of Kunti, their mother was Kunti, so these five brothers, if they come out of their exile, they had some 12 or 13 years of exile, and in the last year of exile, if they are not found, they had to be in incognito, meaning they have to be hidden. If they are not found and the whole exile is done, then Duryodhan said, I will give you back your kingdom. That was the whole deal. They had played a gambling match, and Yudhishthir had lost. He lost all his other brothers. Then he put Draupadi in the match. Draupadi got insulted, right? And after she got insulted, she um, She asked everyone, how can he put me in the gambling match when he himself was lost? And a woman was getting insulted, seeing that Vidura, the uncle of um, uh, the uncle of the Pandavas and the Kurus, he protested. Bhishma said, those who have power, they will know the way of dharma. So he did interrupt a lot, and others also didn't. Then Krishna came and saved Draupadi because this Karna, he said that Draupadi has 5 husbands. That means she can be enjoyed by many more, you know, and we can make her naked. So Dushasan, who had strength of 10,000 elephants, not one elephant, two elephant, 10,000 elephants, he started pulling the sari of Draupadi. And Draupadi begged to everyone to save her from this insult. And then no one saved. And at last she raised her hand and said, Hey Govinda, hey Krishna, please protect me. And Krishna, invisible, came there, and he was not seen by everyone. And he became the sari of Draupadi. And Dushasan, he kept pulling the sari, but the sari never, ended. Unlimited sari was produced there. And he got tired. He has strength of 10,000 elephants. So when 10,000 elephants get tired, can you imagine 10,000 elephants if they get tired? That is the equivalent of Dushyasan getting tired. And then everyone understood that the the creator, the karma, the truth is protecting Draupadi. So immediately, Dhritarashtra came to senses and he just said, I will give everything back to you, you ask. Then he said, first I want my husbands. And I want the weapons of them. And then Dhritarashtra said, I will give you the whole kingdom back. And like that, they got everything back and they started moving back to Indraprasth from Hastinapur, that is New Delhi. But Duryodhan came and said, what? I played this gambling match. I won everything of it. How can you let them go? So he convinced his father to bring them back for another gambling match. And while they were going away, Dhritarashtra said, okay, let's get them for another gambling match. And again they were brought back to gambling match. Yudhishthir had to comply because Dhritarashtra was a king and one has to be obedient to the king. So he complied. Again they played a gambling match. Again Yudhishthir lost. This time Duryodhan said, okay, for 13-14 years you will go in exile, and the very last year you have to be hidden. And if we find you where you are, and if we catch you that time, then the next 14 years again you will go as into exile. And like that, every last year we will try to find you. So Yudhishthir agreed. And Duryodhan said, if we don't find you, and if you come back in Hastinapur, then I will give you back Indraprasth, everything I'll give you back. This was the promise of Duryodhan. But what happened is Duryodhan didn't keep the promise. At last, the 5 Pandavas were hiding in the kingdom of Virata, King Virat. And then that 14 years exile happened. Bhishma said to Duryodhan, 14 years are gone. You have to give them the kingdom back. But Duryodhan said, no, I won't give. So like that, there were many discussions going on with Duryodhan that you should give the kingdom back and all that. Kunti said, no, not Kunti, Gandhari, the mother of Duryodhan, she also said, you should give them back. Dhritarashtra said, you should give them back. But he said, no, I don't want to give. Then Sanjaya said, Vyasadev said, and like this, many people came and tried to resolve this issue through talk, but nothing was happening. At the end, Krishna said, I will become the Shanti Dut, the peacemaker, and I will go. Why? Because the Kurus, they love me, and the Pandavas, you also love me. They respect me, and the Pandavas, you love me. So I'm like, I can have the emotional bank balance in them, and I have love with you all also. So I can talk, I can be the middle person. At that point, the Pandavas said, Duryodhana is not giving back our kingdom. If he doesn't give back and if this leads to a big war, a lot of people will die. A lot of kings will die, a lot of people will die. So Yudhishthir and Pandavas and Bhima and Arjuna, everyone is thinking, let's avoid this war. Okay, this was their statement. Let's avoid this war. See, we are just five brothers. If he's not giving the whole kingdom, fine. Fine. I'm okay not to give. But he should give at least 5 villages. So Krishna go and ask on our behalf for 5 villages. One for each brother. How big is a village? Can anyone tell me how big is a village? How many houses are there in a village? If you go out of Bangalore or any city, you visit a village, small village. How many houses are there? How many houses are there? Can you give me a number? 5, 10. How many houses are there? Can you give me a number?
Maybe some 100, 200, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Just this, and that time villages were even smaller. So maybe 20, 30 houses, that's it. And this is what they said. We just want one village, not even a town. One village for each brother, 5 villages. And we think that Duryodhana may give this. So Krishna says, okay, I'll ask. And then he goes to Duryodhana. Over there, Duryodhana has made another plan. He knows that these Pandavas love Krishna. They love him so much that they are ready to give their life for him. So he thinks, what we will do is, he thinks, we will capture Krishna. We will capture Krishna and we will kidnap him. Okay, we will kidnap Krishna. This is what his planning was. Yeah. So his planning was that he will capture Krishna. So when Krishna comes, Duryodhana said, I will give him the best palace just to entice him, make him our side. Dushasan's palace was the best palace. But when Krishna came and Duryodhana invited him, Krishna said, you are not a friend to me, I'm not a friend to you, and I don't want to eat at a place, where friend is not there. Like that he said, and he avoided. Indeed, he went to Vidura. And then at Vidura's place, Vidura's wife became so overwhelmed with love for Krishna that she gave him a banana. But instead of the banana, she gave him the peel of the banana. And Krishna ate the peel. This is a very famous story. And then later, when the meeting happened in Dhritarashtra's palace, when the meeting happened, Krishna spoke that, 14 years have happened, you didn't catch them, you need to give back. Be truthful, Duryodhana. But Duryodhana said, no, I am not going to give. Then Arjuna said, the Pandavas have told me that they are ready to give back. They are ready to, they are ready to give up their demand of the whole kingdom. They are ready to give up. But they only want 5 villages. How many they want? 5 villages. Duryodhana then said one thing. He said, I won't give a land which is equal to a tip of a needle. And then Krishna said, what are you saying? You are forcing a war by saying this. You have such a big kingdom and you cannot give even 5 villages. They're not even asking for cities or towns, just village they're asking. But Duryodhana had so much of envy. See, when a person has so much of envy, Irsha, then he's not even ready to give a land which is equal to a tip of a needle. Then Krishna said, there will be war. Moment he said that, Duryodhana said, let's bind Krishna. And they started, they bought ropes to bind Krishna. And Krishna then showed his Virat Roop. Seeing that, everyone got confused and Krishna could easily walk out. Who was the person who could bind Krishna? Can anyone tell me who bounded Krishna successfully? Duryodhana's attempt was failure. Who bound Krishna? It was on the day of Diwali Krishna got bound.
Mata
Mother
Yashoda.
Yashoda.
Mother
Mother
Yashoda. Mother
Yeah,
Yashoda.
that's what we are singing the Damodar Ashtakam. So only by love Krishna is bounded. By this force, argument, scholarly thing, Krishna is not bounded. Krishna is bounded by force of love, not by any force of physical strength or intellectual strength, but by the love, power of love, he is bounded. Duryodhan didn't knew this. Then this war happened, and on the very first day of the war, do you know which month this war happened? Can anyone guess which month this war happened?
Kartik month, Prabhu.
No, not Kartik. In November, December time frame. Mostly in December time.
Margashira month, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah. So we have this advent of Gita, right? Coming Ekadashi. 2-3 Ekadashis later. That is the day it happened. How many days the war was fought? How many
18
chapters?
days.
18 days, Prabhu.
Yeah, 18 days. 18 days everything was done. Today 2 wars are happening. Right? Today as we talk, there are 2 wars which are taking place. How many days they are taking place? More than a year, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, more than a
Yeah.
year.
That time war were fought between Kshatriyas only, and common people would not take part, neither they would get killed. And this war was taking in Kurukshetra, not in the city, not in the village, on an open ground. And the very first hour of this war, Arjuna told to Krishna, let me see who all have come to fight. You know, if there is a court case and this court case is going on between brothers and sisters and family members, and there you are in the court, and then one guy stands up and says, let me see who all have come. Like that, Arjuna said to Krishna, let me see who all have come. Now, what did Arjuna do? Krishna do? He was a charioteer. So he took him in front of his favorite people. Who were 2 favorite people of Arjuna? His grandfather
Bhishma.
Bhishma and his
Bhishma
teacher
Dev
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya.
Very favorite. Seeing them, tremendous love came in the heart of Arjuna. But he became afraid. He became fearful. Do you know why the reason he became afraid and fearful? Do you know?
By killing them, they may get papa.
He immediately thought that, oh, this is not in my palace that we are meeting. We are meeting in a battlefield, and this is not a friendly match. This is do or die. Either they live or I live, and I have to kill them. This thought, Swajana, my own Swajana people, I have to kill. This thought put Arjuna under tremendous stress. So much stress that he gave up his Gandiva, it fell from his hand, and he said to Krishna, I cannot fight. And he started giving various reasons why he cannot fight. I cannot kill my teacher, I cannot kill my grandfather, I cannot kill my family members, I cannot kill so many people. If they want a kingdom, I will better give, I will just do begging. If so many young people die, what will happen to their women? What will happen to their wives? Hmm? What will happen to the younger generation? The younger generation will have no one to direct. When this war happened, which war? World War II. In World War II, so many young people died in Germany. Yes or no? And it was seen, whatever effects were seen after that, no one to direct. The whole country was without, fathers, completely destroyed. And Arjuna, 5,000 years ago, he could see what the war can do. And he is putting that things. He's saying, what will happen to the woman? The woman will be corrupted. Bad men will run after them. Then the children that will come out of that union, they will have no sanskar. Those who are already there, there is no one to tell them what is tradition. Today, if you want to pass a tradition to your child, what you have to do? Let's say this, this Mahalaya Shraddha Amavasya went, right? Some 1 or 2 months back. And, many people in India, they did Shraddha on that day. You all must have also done. Now, if you want to pass down that tradition to your son or daughter, what is the thing that you have to do? How do you pass down traditions to your son or daughter?
You need to practice it yourself.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
do it. And when nobody is there, then what will happen? हमको पता ही नहीं, हमको किसी ने बोला ही नहीं. My father didn't do, so I didn't do. Isn't it? Don't we hear these things? So Arjuna could see that in the future, and he could say that parampara won't happen. Welfare activities won't happen. Social destruction will happen, and people coming out also will be irreligious. At the same time, Arjuna knew he had to fight. It is not like he didn't know he had to fight. He knew he had to fight. But his problem was like this. His problem was just like a policeman would see a crime. Okay, a policeman is seeing a crime happening, and a person is doing something, stealing, murdering, whatever, and that person happens to be his own brother. Now, what the policeman should do? Can you tell me what the policeman should do when he sees his own brother committing a crime?
He should punish him.
Yeah, this is the same situation of Arjuna. He saw his swajana. Of course, his cousins were there, but his grandfather and teacher are there. His uncles are there. His contemporaries of his fathers are there. Cousins is fine, but senior people are there. And they are committing a crime. Now I have to fight with them. I have to kill them. I know I have to kill them. Because they are doing a wrong thing. They are sided the adharma. And to establish dharma, I have to fight. To protect the weak from the evil, one has to use violence. Arjuna clearly knew this. That's the Kshatriya. But what to do? My own swajana, my family members are involved in this. Should I kill or not kill? So he said this famous verse in Bhagavad Gita, which is a prayer in Bhagavad Gita. If you want to know what are the prayers, this is one of the prayers. 2.7 कार्पण्य दोषो उपहत स्वभाव प्रच्छामि त्वां धर्म समूढ़ चेत ये श्रेयस्यान्निशितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेहं साधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम. I am confused about my duty. Meaning he knew his duty, but he's confused. Karu ya na karu? Should I do or not do? In this condition, I am telling you, you tell me what is best for me, Krishna. Now I become your disciple. So no more we are friends now. I am disciple, I am your student, you are my teacher. I am soul surrendered to you. In friends, what happened? Everyone is equal, right? So if one friend says to other friend, hey, don't do like this, do like this, the other friend can reject it. So like, kya dost, dost aisa bol raha hai, chalo reject kiya. Now if the student also does that to teacher, the teacher says to student, you need to do this homework, you need to study for half an hour, you need to use this textbook. The student stands up and says, who are you to tell? Huh? Who are you to tell? I won't listen. I'll do what I want to do. Is that allowed? Is that allowed between a relationship of a student and a teacher? Yes or no?
No, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So to tell that point, Arjuna is saying this verse. He is saying, I am no more a friend to you. I am your disciple, student. I'm telling, he's expressing his seriousness. See, a friend will tell seriousness when he says that you tell me what is right. I will listen only to you. This is what Arjuna is saying. I'll become your student, I'll listen to you. And that's the point when Bhagavad Gita, Krishna started speaking. The first thing he spoke is whatever decisions we have to do in life, we have to see through it, that through a window of the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality is that we are going through a human journey. Okay, our essence never dies. That essence that is within us is called the Atma, and after death we keep taking new bodies according to our karma, our desires. So what is best for this Atma in the next journey? All our activities should be directed towards that. All everything, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, everything should be directed so that ultimately the essence within our body, that is the embodied soul, the Atma, our real identity, is benefited. That's the thing he said in second. How it is benefited? You have to do yajna for the Supreme Lord, third chapter. Yajna means what? All your prescribed duties should be done for Lok Sangraha without any attachment, as a duty to offer your results to Yajnaharta, that is Vishnu. When you do that, the karma and its reactions don't affect you. So next life you won't get. That is a karma. How that happens? When a soldier kills on the order of the government, does the government put him in jail? You kill 10 people, we'll put you in jail because killing is bad. No, he killed it on the order, right? Isn't it? If a soldier kills enemies in the battlefield, when he comes back, do the government put him in jail? You have killed 10 people, 70 years of life prison. Do they do that? Yes?
No, Prabhu.
Okay. Now the soldier goes back to home and he picks up a fight with his neighbor, and then in that anger he kills the neighbor. Now what the government will do?
Punish.
Punish.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if one does his duty in the shastric way, in sattvagun, in the spirit of being detached, as a duty, without being attached to the fruit, for welfare of everyone, and offer the results to Krishna, that is karma yoga. If you do this karma yoga, then you won't get reaction, no more birth, no more disease. You will to go on the progress of liberation. You will be able to detach yourself, you will be able to see everything equally because of this. So that famous verse is there, Vidya Vinaya. When only one who is in knowledge sees a gold and a pebble as same. Elephant also same, dog eater also same. Why? He sees everyone as spirit soul. So he starts seeing samatvam. When he sees samatvam, then he can sit and meditate. And then when he meditates, then all his activities start offering to Krishna. And because of that, little bit of bhakti starts within his heart. When he associates with devotees, bhakti process starts. Chanting. First it starts with chanting, hearing, then seva. Like this, purification happens. And then ultimately he moves into mukti, liberation, where he goes back home, back to Godhead. So in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains about bhakti, in and out bhakti. What is bhakti, how to do it and all that. 24 hours thinking about Krishna, Krishna says that is bhakti. If you cannot do, then do sadhana bhakti. If you have read 12th chapter, we'll quickly go. Undeviated, without deviation, if you do, that is the best. But if you cannot do that, then do sadhana bhakti. 9th verse. If you cannot do even sadhana bhakti, then just work for me. If you cannot do work for me, then give up your results to me. Take to cultivation of knowledge, do meditation. Like that he gives. Then he says, by doing all this, You will become non-envious, a kind friend to all. So many things he says. When you will not put anyone into difficulty, neither you will be disturbed by others. You will be equipoised, samatva, in happiness, distress, fire, anxiety, fear, anxiety. And then you will make me the goal of your life. Right now, what goal people have in their life? Is it Krishna or what it is? Can you tell me what are the goals of people in their life?
Material goals, Prabhuji.
Like,
Like good job, good family,
yeah,
good money and all.
good family, good education, good comfort. A devotee may work for it, but he is not attached to it. He will use all of this in Krishna's service. That is a devotee. So at the end, he will achieve Krishna. But other materialistic people, they will work for their family or they work for themselves only. Either they may, go to heavenly planets to enjoy more, or they may go to hellish planets because to get all this money, they did something bad things. So they have to suffer. Okay. So now we are into the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, 13 to 18. And the 12th chapter is the. So how do the acharyas explain? Then we'll immediately go into it. Okay. So 12. Maybe I should write gemstone. Oops. What's happening? Okay, let's take this. So this is a box, right? In that box there is golden ring. So acharyas say that the first 6 chapter is like the upper covering of this box, and the next 6 chapters are the gold, and the next 6 chapters are the below covering. So the between 6 chapters is the jewel where Bhakti Yoga is taught, and here Jnana, knowledge, is given. So we are entering into philosophical sections, very deep philosophical sections of Bhagavad Gita. That is 13th chapter. And first thing is Krishna asked this question to Arjuna asked this question to Krishna. Okay, so let's start. Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, enjoyer, and the field, and knower of the field, and thou of the knowledge, and object of knowledge." The Supreme Person of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called field. And one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." So what he wants to know? He wants to know about Prakriti, this nature. What is this material nature? Purusha, who is the real enjoyer? The field, and the knower of the field, and of knowledge, and object of knowledge. So Krishna says, who is the field? This body. So this body is called Kshetra. Kshetra. Kshetra means what? Field. It's like a field in sense where you sow some seed, right? And then you can get wheat or rice or whatever you have sown, you grow that, right? So this body is like that. It's a field where we do some activity, and the field can vary but person to person. Someone may get fertile field, someone may not get fertile field, someone may get barren field. So the field that we are in, this body, is allowing us some benefits, some disadvantages, right? So that's the Kshetra. And one who is tilling into this field, one who is growing stuff in this field, is called the knower. So who is growing all this in the body? Who's growing? We know that. This is the field. Who is tilling in this field? The Atma. Right? So the Atma is the knower of the field. Then Krishna says there's another Atma, which is also the knower of this field, which is called Paramatma. Why Param? Why superior? Because he knows about this field and all the other fields that are there, all the other bodies that are there. Every atom, every molecule is there. He knows about all that. Therefore, he is Param Atma. So there are two knowers of this body. One is Atma, one is Paramatma. What is knowledge? What is the object of knowledge? We will discuss. Now, Arjuna was inquisitive about Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and knowledge, and object of knowledge. When he inquired about this, Krishna said this body is called a field, and one who knows this body is the knower of the field. Okay. Now I want someone to read this highlighted section. Can someone volunteer?
I can read.
Go ahead.
This body is the field of activity for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul is entrapped in material existence and he attempts to lord it over material nature. And so, according to his capacity to dominate material nature, he gets a field of activity. That field of activity is the body. And what is the body? The body is made of senses. The conditioned soul wants to enjoy sense gratification, and according to his capacity to enjoy sense gratification, he is offered a body or field of activity. Therefore, the body is called Kshetra or the field of activity for the conditioned soul. Now, the person who should not identify himself with the body is called Kshetragna, the knower of the field.
Read this section also.
It is described in the beginning, Dehinos Asmin, that the living entity is within the body and that the body is changing from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth and from youth to old age, and the person who owns the body knows that the body is changing. The owner is distinctly Kshetragna. Sometimes we think, I am happy, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a dog, I am a cat. These are the bodily designations of the knower, but the knower is different from the body. Although we may use many articles, our clothes, etc., we know that we are different from the things used. Similarly, we also understand by a little contemplation that we are different from the body. I or you or anyone else who owns the body is called Kshetragna. The knower of the field of activities and the body is called, can you please move, scroll up? Uh, is called Kshetra,
Yeah,
the
read.
field of activities itself.
Hmm. Go ahead.
In the first six chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the knower of the body, the living entity, and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord are described. In the middle six chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the relationship between the individual soul and the super soul in regard to devotional service are described. The superior position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the subordinate position of the individual soul are definitely defined in these chapters. The living entities are subordinate under all circumstances, but in their forgetfulness, they are suffering. When enlightened by pious activities, they approach the Supreme Lord in different capacities as the distressed, those in want of money, the inquisitive, and those in search of knowledge. That is also described. Now, starting with the 13th chapter, Now, starting with the 13th chapter, how the living entity comes into contact with material nature and how he is delivered by the Supreme Lord through the different methods of fruitive activities, cultivation of knowledge, and the discharge of devotional service are explained.
Okay. So we discuss this in short. Again, there will be much more to discuss, but I'll just go further. O Sayan of Bharata, you should understand it. I am also the knower of the body. So Krishna says, I am also the knower of body. Why? Who is Paramatma? Krishna is Paramatma.
Krishna.
He is Paramatma.
To
Hriday,
understand, yeah, sorry.
Hriday, there's a particular verse where Krishna says, I am seated in everyone's heart. It's in 15th chapter, 15.15. There are other verses also, but right now I remember this verse, 15.15. Sarvasacham Hriday Sanvishto. I am seated in everyone's heart. What I am giving? Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. I am giving remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness. Of all the Vedas, I am to know. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta. I am the knower of the Vedas. So, Krishna says he is the Paramatma in 15.15. There are other Pramanas also. Can someone read this section, this paragraph?
Hare Krishna. Can I read, Prabhu?
Okay, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. So, what is knowledge? Knowledge is to understand this body and the soul and the super soul. All these three is knowledge. That is my point. Okay, read.
Sorry, Prabhu, knowledge is to understand
No, from here,
the
body,
body. No, no,
body.
no, no. That was my question. So the ultimate
Ah,
knowledge which you're talking about is to understand the body and the knower, right?
yes. There are two types of knower: soul and super soul.
Super soul. Huh.
Atma and Paramatma.
Got it. Okay. Got it,
Yes,
Prabhu. I
Atma,
can read.
Paramatma, and relationship between the two, and this Kshetra, this body.
Hmm.
But Krishna gives a very bigger list, and we will go through that. For now, just start with the purport, this particular paragraph.
So, Hare Krishna. While
Hmm.
discussing the subject of the body and the knower of the body, the soul and the super soul, we shall find three different topics of study: the Lord, the living entity, and the matter. In every field of the knowledge, in every body, there are two souls, the individual soul and the super soul. Because the super soul is the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says, I am also the knower, but I am not the individual knower of the body. I am super knower. I am present in every body as Paramatma or super soul. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the the individual may be in the knower of his own body, but he is not in the knowledge of other bodies. The Supreme Personality of God, who is present as a super soul in all the bodies, knows everything about all the bodies. A citizen may know everything about his patch of land, but the king knows
Not only.
not only his palace, but all the properties possessed by the individual citizens. Similarly, one may be the proprietor of the body individually, but the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all the bodies. The king is the original proprietor of the kingdom, and the citizen is the secondary proprietor. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the supreme proprietor of all the body. The body consists of senses. The Supreme Lord is Rishikesha, which means a controller of the senses. He is the original controller of the senses, just as the king is the original controller of all the activities of the state. The citizens are secondary controllers. The Lord says, I am also the knower. This means that he is a supernova. The individual soul knows only his particular body. The
Read this.
body is
Hmm. Now, this
the
body is
body
called
the body is called Kshetra,
Kshetra.
and with it dwells the owner of the body, the supreme Lord, who knows both the body and owner of the body. Therefore, he is called a knower of all the fields. Perfect knowledge of the constitution of the body, the constitution of individual soul, and the constitution of the super soul is known in terms of Vedic literature as jnana. That is the opinion of Krishna, to understand both the soul and the super soul as one and distinct is knowledge.
Hmm.
That's it, Prabhu.
there is there are
Okay.
few starting few purports are very long.
I'll read.
Yeah.
One should not confuse the three in their different capacity. One should not confuse the painter, the painting, and the essay. This material world, which is the field of the activity, is nature, and the enjoyer of nature is the living entity, and above them both is the supreme controller and the personality of Godhead. There are three
Brahman. You have to read
Brahman,
it
sorry.
Brahman. Brahman.
Yeah. There are three Brahman conceptions. Prakriti is Brahman as the field of activities. The Jiva, individual soul, is also Brahman and is trying to control material nature. And the controller of both of them is also Brahman, but he is the factual controller. So here, Prabhu, they're saying that all three are known as Brahman only, but they have different roles.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
got
are
it.
different.
Hmm.
Reason is, I mean, why the three are called Brahman is because everything is coming from the Para Brahman. Para Brahman is Paramatma. Paramatma is Krishna. So anything that comes from Krishna is also spiritual in nature. Okay. So Prakriti is coming from Krishna. That is also spiritual nature. Jiva is coming from that is also spiritual. So the point is, Prakriti is material energy of Krishna. Okay. It is still not spiritual, but it has come from Krishna. So when it is offered back to Krishna, then it becomes spiritual. Okay. So for one who understands this thing, right, that Prakriti is Brahman, okay, when he comes to this understanding, Prakriti is also Brahman. Otherwise, one tries to enjoy this Prakriti, thinking this is mine. But when he understands, oh, this Prakriti belongs to Krishna, then he sees it as Brahman. Just like, a parent, when they come to their home, and if they see the child's shoes, they will immediately remember their son or daughter, right? Isn't it? If you see your children's clothes or shoes or books, what do you remember? You remember your child only. Okay. But let's say you see somebody else's shoes and you don't know what is that. Do you remember your child? No. So a person who is able to connect everything to Krishna, and Krishna is Brahman, so for him everything is Brahman. Does that make sense now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Who is not able to connect it to Krishna, he thinks this is mine. Me and mine. I want to enjoy. But one who connects everything to Krishna, for him anything he sees, this is for Krishna. Like that. So therefore for him it is Brahman. It is actually Brahman, but what you connect with, then we start interacting with it. Okay. Krishna is a super soul present in each and everyone's body apart from the individual soul, and Krishna explicitly says there that real knowledge is to know that the super soul is the controller of both the field of activities and finite enjoying. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it produced, who that knower of the field of activity is, and what his influences are. Okay. So I will talk a little bit of the Kshetra. Kshetra is the body that we get, right? So, yeah. It's like a suit around us. Now, in which suit will you have the maximum freedom and the maximum ability? The left one or the rightmost?
Left one, Prabhu.
Yeah. In the rightmost, our ability is stunted. We cannot do certain things. We can do certain things more there, but not every other thing. In the middle one, we may have certain abilities, but in the left one, we are very, very free. So the kshetra that we are given, that's how then we start doing work. And the kshetra, from the Vedic perspective, tells us what inclination we have, what ability we have, what we can do. So in Vedic scriptures, these four things are explained: Varna, Ashrama. So in the Varna, the kshetra decides our Varna. The Brahmana wants to study. He is studious person. He is not after money. We see many people, they just want to study, but money, they don't want to earn so much. Whatever comes, they're happy. Then we see second type of people who wants to administer, they want to control, they want to become politicians. Right? If you tell them to study, no, they want to control things. And they become politicians, they go into army, police, whatever. Third type of people, Business people, anything they see, they want to do business out of it. Vicious. Fourth type of person, they are neither interested in business, they don't want to control anyone, they are not so studious, but they want to work for everyone. काम दे दो भाई, बस काम से मतलब है. Those are Shudras. So the Kshetra that we get decides which inclinations, which quality, which work we are going to have. And this Kshetra consists of senses also. It consists of our body, male body, female body, animal body, right? And the senses, all the senses, like we see sometimes persons are disabled. They get the Kshetra, but it is disabled. Disabled in sense, some sense is not working. They are blind, or maybe some leg is there, or some diseases are there, and then one cannot perform fully. One is inhibited, isn't it? So the Kshetra decides a lot of things. So as we are growing, as our children also growing, we should inquire what is our Kshetra. What are the inhibited abilities within us, and the knowledge, the study, the education should bring out that revelation of our abilities, our extremes to us, and then we can really direct into something that we would like to do again and again and again and again, and we are not at all frustrated with it. That's how one should use the Kshetra. So Kshetra, study of the Kshetra should be done to find the Swadharma. What's the most best inclination about for me, where I won't get frustrated at all, and I will do that thing again and again and again and again. There is, you all know about cricket, right? Because in India everyone plays cricket, and very famous, and it's a very big fad here. So these players, they have that ability in them, strength, right? And if they think everything in terms of cricket only, and they are able to practice. And do they get frustrated after those many practice? Does Virat Kohli, Tendulkar, they get frustrated after playing cricket? Yes or no?
No,
Sorry,
No,
not
Prabhuji.
saying
Prabhu.
Dhoni. That is their Swadharma. This is how they find out. This is what I want to do, and I won't get frustrated in it doing it. And another way to understand is when they get failures also, they are not disturbed. So when one does Swadharma, he is able to do certain things repeatedly without getting frustrated. Second thing, even if there is a failure in the path, he won't be discouraged. He will keep doing it. So this is the power of knowing one's Kshetra. The Vedic education would teach the student to such a way to find that Kshetra, to find the Swadharma in a person. And that's how they were very, very happy. The Swadharma would then tell us where you need to go, and you will be happy with it. The army person, the day they enter, they are being trained, run 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, don't eat anything. After doing that also, do they say, I'm frustrated with the army, I'm leaving? No, this is the thing they want to do. Those who become doctors, they read so many books. Do we have a doctor in this meeting? They read so many books. All their books are fat only. We'll never find a thin book, isn't it? But the Kshetra that they have got, the body that they have got, is pushing them to be studious, to be inquisitive in medical knowledge, and therefore they are able to do it nicely. Software engineers, they want to code, they want to do something, like that. Entrepreneurs, business people, if you show them a spoon also, they will think, kitne ka hai? Does anyone ask this question? If you only get a spoon, kitne ka hai, kitne mein banega? No, business people think like that. And a Shudra people, they will just want to work. We see so many Nepali people, becoming here watchmen and working in our houses and all that. बस काम से मतलब है, बस we get our salary, we are happy with it. और कुछ नहीं करना है, बस काम करना है, right? Have you heard these words? So this is how they found their Swadharma and they are happy doing those things. But today's education system, they force person to go into some different field where their Swadharma is not there. And therefore, when they reach there, they don't know what to do. They are frustrated. So this Kshetra is very important. We should allow our children to do self introspection to find that Swadharma so that they can grow. And this is for us also. So Vedanta Desika, who is a South Indian Acharya coming in the Ramanacharya, he talks about this Swadharma and this nature. To find out one's nature, he says few things. First thing he says, one should find by himself his nature. Second, he says, if somebody is telling you this is your nature, don't accept it. You have to find it yourself. And then one should see what is working in his life, where he's liking, what is disliking, what he can do repeatedly without getting frustrated, like that. And the last point he says, using astrology also you can find your Swadharma. It will broadly tell you what kind of category you are in. Are you Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya or Brahmana? So with that point we will come back to. So this Kshetra has a very big meanings, okay? Not just in this Bhagavad Gita talks about spiritual meaning, but there are other meanings to it. And Krishna is saying here, field of activities and how it is constituted, what changes are there, whence it is produced, what is the knower of the activities, and what his influences are. Influences are both material and spiritual, both. Okay. The Lord is describing the field of activities and knower of the field of activities in their constitutional positions. Okay. Can someone read this section, highlighted section?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
One has to know how this body is constituted, the materials of which this body is made, under whose control this body is working, how the changes are taking place, where from the changes are coming, what the causes are, what the reasons are, what the ultimate goal of the individual soul is, and what the actual form of the individual soul is. One should also know the distinction between the individual living soul and the super soul, their different influences, their potentials, etc. One just has to understand this Bhagavad Gita directly from the description given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all this will be clarified, but one should be careful not to consider the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every body to be one with the individual soul, the Jiva. This is something like equating the potent and the impotent.
Okay. See, there are few things that Prabhupada mentions here, which I already said. What are the different influences and the potentials? Okay. So, Kshetra is so important to understand. So that we understand what are the influences in it, what are the potentials. Another way to understand this is, I took the example of farmer. Now, if you see, what kind of what kind of land is this? What kind of
It's
land?
barren land.
Barren.
Barren,
What kind of land is this?
fertile,
Fertile
fertile.
land. So a farmer sees what the kshetra that he has. Can you grow anything in this kind of land?
No, Prabhu.
Let's say if he tries also, what then he should grow? Sugarcane. Let's say if he thinks, let me grow sugarcane in this field. Can he do that?
No, he can't grow sugarcane.
Why?
Yeah. Because it needs a lot of water.
Yeah. Land should also be fertile. Okay. If sugarcane is not there, then any other thing can grow?
Cactus,
Cactus. Good point. Any other thing?
Aloe vera,
Good. That is also one type of cactus.
dates,
Could be. Let's say this is the land in the northern part of Karnataka. What do villagers eat? Do they eat wheat? Rice they eat, of course. But where there is no rice, no water and all that, then there is something that, today it's very,
Ragi.
what is it called? All this ragi, bajra, jawar, little
Little
millet,
millet.
millets.
Millets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the northern part of Karnataka, all these fields are like, dry. Not much of water is there. On that, these millets, they grow where they don't require any, not much water. Little water they require enough. Okay. And the fertileness also should be small. It's not very intensive also. So you see, now the farmer decides, what can I grow here? Then he says, okay, I will grow millets. If it is a fertile field next to Godavari, then what he will grow? I can get water from here. I can grow rice, sugarcane, and all that. Okay. Now, how to make this fertile field, barren field fertile? Can you give me examples? How to
By
make this
irrigation,
kshetra?
applying manure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which manures
Which
can you
manure
apply?
can you apply?
Organic manure.
Where does it get
Where does
from?
it get?
It is just domestic waste.
And
And
Mm.
Animal
animal
waste.
waste.
what? Sorry.
What? Sorry?
Agricultural waste, animal waste, all they
Which animal?
Which
we
animal?
Which animal
decompose
is the
and
best animal?
Which animal?
cow.
Yes.
Yes.
So using
So
cow
using
urine
cow
and
urine
cow
and cow
gobar,
urine,
you can
you
make.
can make
There's a echo. You can make a barren land fertile. You have to keep applying that cow and urine and gobar for many years. And then when you make it fertile, you can grow anything. So we may get a kshetra which may be favorable, which may not be favorable. We can till it and we can change it also. Not completely, but to some extent. Similarly, this body that we have got, it may be completely barren, maybe 50% barren, maybe fertile, and using various techniques of yoga, meditation, education, we can change things in our kshetra. And that's how we can bring out some result where person is happy and focusing. So that's how we can bring out potentials. That's why studying the kshetra is very important. One last thing. Have you gone to any Ayurvedic doctor?
Yes,
Any?
Prabhu.
What does he say? What kind of body you have?
Basically,
Vata, Pitta, something
Kapha.
like
Vata.
What is that?
What
Three.
is
There
that?
are only three
There are
types,
only
na?
three types.
Kapha, Pitta,
Kapha,
and
Pitta, and
Kapha, Pitta,
Kapha,
and
Pitta.
what else?
Vata.
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 Right. So we
Right?
already
So we
got this
already got
kshetra.
this.
This kshetra has more kapha, little bit. Like my body is also very kapha body. Lot of kapha is there. So then what I eat, he says, don't eat this, eat that, etc. Right? What goes in, you will then have that. You will bring out the potential of your body, isn't it? So from Ayurvedic perspective, also, what are they doing? Are they giving are they giving this paracetamol to everyone? No. They are telling first understand your kshetra, your body. See what its potential is. See what its influences is. See what its limitations are, and then work according to that. Isn't it? It's not like doctor meets Ayurvedic doctor meets and he's giving the same medicines to everyone. No. First he's taking from the nadi. What kind of body is this? Kapha, Vata, Pitta, right? Then he's telling, okay, you take this medicine. Then the food also he's deciding, okay, you cannot take this, you cannot take that. Isn't it? So this is how Kshetra is studied from medical standpoint of view, from inclination standpoint of view, from growth standpoint of view, from sex standpoint of view, whether you're male or female, whether you're adult, whether you're child, whether you're young, whether you're old. When Sachin Tendulkar is now 50 plus years, can he play the same way the way he played 20 when he was 20 years old? Yes or no?
No, Prabhu. The
So
energy
No,
levels
what is the
Prabhu.
best he
increase.
can do? What is the best he can do? He can become a coach. 4. So that's how one can use his kshetra. You understand? With
Yes,
time
Prabhu.
also things may change. The potentials may change and all that. So the study of kshetra, it helps us in our material life, spiritual life also. In spiritual life also, we like certain services, we don't like certain services. All our kshetra is moving us. Those who want to become leaders, we will see those devotees becoming leaders. Right? But those devotees who are not leaders, they'll say, Prabhuji, te to main kar deta hu. They will do something that they are very happy with. Every time we go to Sunday feast, then all what they're doing is cleaning, dish washing, and all that, and they're happy doing that. Some devotees want to preach, some devotees want to serve prasadam, some devotees want to be preachers, some devotees they are telling we can work with the government nicely, like that. So all this is kshetra. Kshetra is pushing them. So this is so important topic to understand kshetra. So I will stop here and open up for some questions. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Okay. So
No
no question.
problem. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we'll meet tomorrow and we'll continue with 5. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.